I was telling this story last night in the Shepherd's Bush Empire. A few weeks ago in Chicago, I ran into this woman in an elevator. I was on the 9th floor coming down, and this woman came in around the 5th floor, and I guess she was between sort of 75 and 82, maybe 81. Or she was an old woman. She had this beautiful old sort of Paddington Bear navy blue duffel coat on. It was clearly too big for her. And she sort of stepped into the elevator, and she had this beautiful, like grey fringe coming out and a big nose. And she was real handsome looking. She kind of reminded me of that saying, the saying that between 0 and 25 you're born, you get the face you're born with. Between 25 and 55 you get the face you earn. Between 55 and the rest of your life you get the face you deserve. And this woman looked like she had a great life. She just looked like she'd lived really well. And she stepped into the elevator, and she had this big coat, and I said, "Hey, I like your coat." And she said, "You like my coat?" Yeah, I said, "Yeah, it's beautiful." And her head was turning, and the way the hood would stay there, and her head. She couldn't really see me. I said, "Thanks, I love this coat." I said, "It's beautiful on you, it looks really good." She said, "Yeah, well, I'm really glad you noticed this coat. I love this coat. This coat means a lot to me." I said, "Well, it's great." She said, "I saw this coat in a shop window, and I thought, what I'm going to say? I'm going to live my life. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to buy that coat and live my life." And I was like, "Well, geez, I'm glad I noticed it. It's a good coat. It really suits you." She says, "Thank you." And she said, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but like, I didn't leave my house for 2 years. I stayed in my house and I ate cereal and I watched TV and I stayed in my pajamas and I didn't do anything." And I was like, "Wow." And she said, and then I saw this coat in the shop window, and I said, "No, I'm going to go visit my daughter." And she was in Chicago visiting her daughter at the time. And we got down to the bottom of to the reception, and I said, "Well, I'll give you a hand with your bag out to the car." And I helped her out to the taxi with her bag, and on the way out she was like, "What do you do, young man?" And I said, I'm in a band." And she said, "What's your band?" I said, "Swell." She's never heard of you. She never heard of us anyway. And I said to her, "You should come see us play. We're playing," because she's from New York, and I said, "You come see us play. We're playing there in January." And she says, I probably will." And I gave her my email address, and she was like, she said, "You're a nice young lad." And she said, "My son was about your age." And I was like, "Oh, really?" She said, "Yeah, he was in that fucking building." And I was like, "Oh God, okay, shit, I'm sorry." And she said, "Yeah," he said, he was in that building, and he finished his job on the 10th of September, and he went into work the next day to collect the popcorn out of his drawer." She used that term. I'm sure it's an American term, I'm not sure. And she said he was just cleaning up his drawer, and she said, I wanted to tell him not to go, but I woke up late and I didn't tell him, and I had this really strong feeling. And she said, and she welled up and she started crying, and she said, "You've got to tell people. You've got to tell people what's on your mind." And it really struck me, I said, I sort of said, "I'm sorry," and she got into the car and she left. But all day I thought about it, and I was walking around going, what, because every encounter you have, you take something from it, and and it made me think about the distance between the back of your head and your tongue is actually quite short, and yet we hold stuff in for like 20 years, and I'm sure you guys are very similar to the Irish in that we'll hold something in until it turns into cancer, and we'll die, and we'll never have said it, And it's so easy to basically, and we all know how good it is when something just falls off your tongue, and there it is, it's out on the table, and you've said it, and it's done, and then everyone can deal with it. So it really blew my mind, and it made me think about the things that I haven't said to people, and the things that I've held back, and the things that have actually, ate me up. So I'd sing this for Lois from New York, and her duffel coat. Scratching at the surface now, and I'm trying hard to work it out. And so much has gone misunderstood, and this mystery only leads to doubt.
and I didn't understand. When you reached down to take my hand, and if you have something to say, you better say it now, 'cause this is what you've waited for. Your chance.